How's your day going, guys? I'm RenegadeTitan HD, and today we're playing Ark Survival Evolved. Now, in the last video I did for Ark, we started looking at the Tek Tier tile set, which is the walls and the structure you see in front of you now. That's a base that I just built today for fun. And we also talked about the Tek Tier force field, and big ass bubble up there shining and giving me amazing glare. So today I was just mucking about with building, and I remembered in the last video where we talked about what could and couldn't damage the Tek force field, but we never really took a look at what could or how well something could damage the Tek walls and structures and such. So when building today, having the Tek rifle out of my hand, I accidentally fire off a few shots and notice I'm doing damage. Now when I actually try to redo it and have a look at how much total damage I could do, I noticed that from firing a full magazine of the Tek rifle down to when it needs to cool down, you can do 7,600 damage to a Tek wall. Now that's an extravagant amount of damage to a Tek wall, considering this is a Tek rifle. They're supposed to be in the same tier. So I think they're a little OP right now in terms of combating Tek structures, but I mean C4 came in at a little less. That did 800 damage and the RPG actually did just 500. I think that actually got changed in maybe last couple of updates. I think the RPG had reduced damage, something along those lines. So when building, I came up with a few ideas as well. Food for thought for anyone who wants to start building with Tek Tier and stuff. So if you're one of the kinds of people who has gone and killed all the bosses, or plans on going and killing all the bosses and getting their hands on all this awesome Tek Tier, what you need to watch out for is that Tek Tier does immense damage to Tek Tier. So if you're one of a few tribes on a server that has Tek Tier capabilities, you are going to either want to do one of two things. You're either going to want to kill the competition or ally up or friend up. But to be honest, if you've got to this stage and you're an alpha tribe or you're a big tribe or you have the capability of taking on all the bosses, i.e. you're a strong tribe, you probably already are friendly with those other tribes. Maybe not, maybe you are. But that's something to consider. Now, with building this base inside this bubble, I came up with a couple of ideas. That's the kind of person I am when I'm building. I love building and I love coming up with ideas and how to change things. So when building, I remembered that when you're inside the bubble, you can't shoot out. You can't shoot in. Only you and your tribe can pass in and out of the bubble if you placed it. Enemies can't. Wild dinos can't. So whilst you're inside, short of jumping in and out of the bubble and doing a bit of guerrilla warfare and guerrilla fighting, firing a few shots and retreating back into the bubble, you haven't really got the capability of fighting off an enemy. So that's where I came up with ideas like this. Creating little platforms that jut out through the force field that allow you to walk up the ramp onto the elevated platform and fire off at the enemy who's outside your bubble. Like here. Just walk up here, here's the force field, pass through, I can now shoot out. See? So if there's enemies out there causing you some grief, you can come up here and fire. And you can have these dotted all around your base with a wall going all the way around into locking them as well. So should your shield fail, at least you've got some sort of defensive perimeter that you can use. So that's just one idea that I came up with. When also thinking about it, I realised that the Tek Tier force field is actually its own raid base. Because it can be placed on the grass, it can be placed on foundations, it can be placed underwater, it can be placed just about anywhere, as long as it's not within range of another Tek Tier force field. Instead of having to build a raid base and set up turrets to keep all your dinos safe that are in reserve for when you're attacking another tribe, all you really have to do is pick up your Tek Tier force field, place it wherever you want to set up your dinos that are close by ready for your raid. Maybe you're going to use them right there and then, maybe you're going to use them later on, whatever. You can put up a Tek Tier force field and put all your dinos, all your boxes, all your crates on a couple of foundations, put down a couple of beds, and no one can get in. Because obviously if you're attacking another tribe, they're busy dealing with you. Now they're not really going to have the capability on Pteranodons to get by you and do damage to this gigantic bubble, which is 250k health, in order to get in at your raid war machine. So if anything, this creates an OP raid base, which is going to create a lot of problems for people who don't have Tek Tier capabilities, or who do get raided by people who do. So that's food for thought. Now, another thing about Tek Tier is, with auto turrets, one of the things I was worried about is if things can latch onto me whilst I'm on inside. Say for example I had a couple of Titan boas who saw me inside the perimeter and were trying to get in but couldn't. what about auto turrets? Would they lock onto targets outside the perimeter and waste all their ammunition? The answer to that question is no. If you've got auto turrets set up, don't worry, anything on the other side of that bubble they will not shoot at. If your bubble falters and there are enemies on the inside and you put your bubble up and you've got enemies locked on the inside of your bubble, your turrets will then fire at those who are on the inside, those who are within that defensive perimeter. So that's a cool addition that the people at Wildcard have done an amazing job with. As you can see there, you've got that Phomia trying to get in and he can't. That's what I'm talking about. Say for example that bubble falls, he manages to get on the inside, within about 5 minutes I turn the bubble up, he will die from my turrets in that time anyway. So those are little things I've been considering. The same thing with building a complex. If you build a gigantic base that encompasses the entire radius of the inside of this bubble, then what you could also do is create corridors, say for example off of this block here. If you create a corridor that comes out of the bubble and you have maybe another little base here and so on, you know, you could create a gigantic base and have a fallback base. Say for example having this structure in front of you as something that houses all your saves, your forges, your smithies, your beds, your tribesmen and tribewomen's rooms, that kind of thing. So effectively, should you get attacked, all you have to do is rely on those other compartments of the base which are outside to hold up long enough for you to get your shield up, and should the shield come up it'll cut off those corridors. Because enemies can't pass through them, even if you know the force field's cutting through a corridor, they still can't get through. So you've effectively segregated your base from everything else that you may have already lost access to. So the Tek Tier force field has so many pros and it has so many cons for people who are having it used against them. So as I said, it's a short video and these are just things that were whizzing around my head. Now I'm just going to show you a little bit about the base. I mean, it didn't take that long to build and it looks like a lot of resources, but to be honest, if you're at the stage where you've unlocked Tek Tier, you've probably got pretty good farming capabilities, so you could probably get this up and running after a short amount of time. So over here we've got just little compartments like here, so you can fight outwards. See, like the windows, you can fire out, fight enemies, and on the second level we've got balconies and such, which is access through the stairs. Go out to this back one here. Slope walls again, so you can't get picked or anything. Nothing can get through that gap, and you can fire out and do damage to yourself if you miss. So these are little things that I don't know, I started to come up with. I love bases like these, especially if you build it big enough where you can fit a load of safes in there. It would make the perfect fallback position should everything else fail. So this video is mainly for those of you who are on Xbox and PlayStation 4, because obviously PC has already got the update. That's what I'm playing on right now. So hopefully you guys have got a little bit more information about what you're in store for in the next few weeks, maybe a month or so before you get the update. This is really just a video to showcase that to you guys. So hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did and you want to drop me a like, that's much appreciated. The same with subscribing. I've got a load of other videos if you want to check out, and decide for yourself if you do like what I'm doing and you do want to subscribe. So hopefully you've had a great day. Hopefully you're going to have a great week. Hopefully I get to see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Take care.